do. There we go.
Yeah.
Now I've got my mic on.
Oh, they won't be able to hear me though. Okay.
No, they can't hear you today.
So when I direct you, you'll have to make sure you tell them what the question is.
Yeah. Okay, so we're live there. Open that one up. And we're live there, so I can open that one up. See everybody's chat. Lots of people on with us today. Why is everything frozen? Well, maybe it's not. Huh. Okay, it's not frozen now. Okay. All right, we got Brian Baker. We got Canadian Maker Project. We've got one over on Facebook. I don't know who it is yet, but they're there. Hey, how you doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Brian Baker says, hey, Frank.
Hi, Brian.
Mark Baker, hello, sir. Rudy Yetten. We got Jason Dali. We got my wife. Hi, Honey and Frank. Honey and Frank.
Mandy has a little girl, and when she was a baby, I used to call her Bean.
Bean.
Bean. I don't know where it came from. I used to call her Bean all the time. Now she's growing up, and I still call her Bean. And I keep trying to get her to call us Frank and Bean.
Frank and Bean?
She calls me Frankenstein instead, though.
Hey, there's Franco Descala. Look at that. We're talking about some things today. We are. We're actually going to talk about some stuff today. We're going to take your questions too today. But there's a bunch of things I want to cover. There's David Sell. Hello, sir. You can do the flyout or no?
I kind of like this better.
Okay.
I like because this way I can see this really easily if you're cutting on stuff. Like if somebody makes a comment, I can just go like.
David Sell is coming to us from Minnesota.
I like soda.
I like soda too, but I like mini soda. Just small one. No, sorry, that's a bad joke. Wah, wah, wah. Brian Baker's excited for what's in the box. We have another what's in the box today. Yep. Hey, there's Emilio Witt. All the way from Belgium. Rudy Yetten, I believe you're in Holland. There's Jim McGregor from BC. Maker Mike's. Canadian Maker Project just back from ERF, or the Eastern Rep Rap Festival. Rudy Yetten is Belgium. Oh, sorry, Rudy. Why did I think you were from like Holland or something? I don't know why. What do I know? All right, it's 1:30. Let's run that intro.
Oh boy.
Hey, welcome to the first layer. This is our weekly live stream now on Wednesdays, Coffee with Rich. That guy's me, Richard Cleveland. I'm your host here 3 times a week. This week we've had kind of an eventful week in a lot of ways, and we're going to talk about what those events were. First and foremost, let's get into this big gray hunk of plastic that's sitting on my desk that kind of looks like me. This is the scan that was done by Ben Eady, and you guys have requested that I put the STL for this up online. So I ran a poll to see if you guys wanted to do something special with this, and what I'm thinking about, and I haven't hammered out all the details yet, but a good friend of the community, Jerry Knapp, has been feeling quite ill as of late and was in the hospital for a little while. I won't get into the details as per his request, but I'd like to do something charity-wise to help out with some of his medical expenses. So I'm going to take your ideas over the next week. We're going to put something together. Then I'll release this STL online. And we will, the winner will get some sort of prize. But what I'd like to do is kind of raise some funds for Jerry and the medical expenses that he's going through right now. Jerry is a very active member of not only our community, but his own community, which is 3D printing and tinkering, and as well as many other communities. Very active in painting, very active in building, and I think we should all kind of rally behind him and do something special for him. Hopefully you guys are on board with that. Hey, there's Kevin Toole. Who else do we got here? We've got Dennis Moore. Hi all. And I think I've caught up with everybody pretty much. So that's what I want to do. Jerry Knapp, a very good friend of our community. So I want to try and raise some funds for him to help him out. So we'll tie this in with that. And if you have any ideas on how we should do that, please leave me a comment below here on YouTube or on Facebook in our community, and we will, or private message me. You can do that as well on Facebook. If you want to drop me some info or send me a private letter, you can do so. And I believe, let's pull up my my lower third there. Richard at thefirstlayer.com if you've got any questions or anything like that, or any suggestions on how we should run a little contest using my big fat head and how to raise some funds for Jerry, okay? So that was that. So this is still here. I haven't XTC'd it or done anything else with it, but we'll put him off because he's really creepy. He's creeping me out. Other news. Let's talk about some other news. Last night, I got a wonderful letter from YouTube creators saying that our channel has finally passed all of their criteria and we are now monetized. If you are watching on Facebook today, or on YouTube, pardon me, you'll notice that there is a $ down below the chat. If you just hover over that, that's called Super Chat. And what Super Chat is it's a way of you being able to help out the channel a little bit. If you so choose, you can do a Super Chat and we'll see them here. If anybody wants to take advantage of that, go ahead. You don't have to. It's not required. I still look at all of the messages. And yes, we are legit monetized now. Joe Krieg, hello, sir, and Gary T, welcome to the show today. So we are, I'm happy about that. We now have monetization and Super Chat has been loaded. So what I'm going to ask of you guys is if you go back and watch past videos, if you've missed something, please, by all means, just let the ad roll. Don't try and pass it. Just let it roll because that helps out the channel, okay? Hopefully you guys can do that for me. That being said, we got a piece of hardware on our desk, but before we go into that, I want to talk a little bit about the big news of the week, and that was Ultimaker. Ultimaker released Cura 3.4 over the last couple of days. Thank you, Brian Baker. Thank you very much. Just a little something there from Brian. It works.
What, you didn't believe us?
It works. So Cura 3.4 was released and you can download it right now from the website, from Cura's website. There's been some changes. There's been slicing engine updates, infill support, cross infill image, support wall line counts. There's better integration of Octoprint, Autodesk, FreeCAD, and OpenSCAD or SCAD projects. There is a UX enhancements, auto select a 3D model after import, better filter time out performance, plugin updates, toolbox from browsing plugins, Cura backups, configuration plugins, and that kind of stuff. And then there's some regular bug fixes. So the plugins update I found really kind of interesting. Let me just quickly kind of talk a little bit about this. Right now they've got the toolbox, which is going to change a little bit. You're now going to see a graphical interface in the toolbox. The plugin browser has been redesigned into the toolbox complete with graphical elements, as I was just saying, and it gives more information about available plugins. Cura backups. When installed, you can back up your settings. This is very important. You can back up your settings, materials, and plugins in Ultimaker Cura to the cloud. So now they have a cloud service. All you got to do is sign up for that. Simply make an account on Ultimaker Secure Server and keep your configurations and settings easily accessible, whether at home or in the office. So you can take your Cura settings with you, which is kind of cool. There's a skewed View 3D and Canadian Maker project. There we go. Nice to see you guys. Derek Matthews. There's Blender integration. So open Blender files directly in Ultimaker Cura, which is very cool. The Open SCAD integration allows files directly into Cura. The FreeCAD integration, again, you can bring those FreeCAD files directly into Cura as well. This is something that I thought was interesting, is the Octoprint plugin. Now, the new version of Octoprint plugin for Ultimaker is incredible. There's a lot of things you can do with it now. I just want to see if I can find a little bit more information on it for you guys in here. And of course, they don't have much. I've kind of quickly looked at it. And it looks like it's going to be far easier for you if you're using Cura to use the Octoprint through Cura now, which is kind of really cool. So all of your slicing that you would do in Octoprint, whether you do it via mobile or you do it right there at the printer, now you can directly use everything from Cura, which is kind of neat.
Is that comparable to Repetier Host?
Very, very much so, yes. Let's see if there's any questions. I'm going to just go over to Facebook here, see if I'm missing anything.
Kevin's watching.
No, Kevin's watching. Okay, I missed Kevin, obviously.
Oh, he just came on.
Oh, he just came on? Okay. Hello, Kevin. Kevin is our neighbor next door. And Kevin also runs a company called Creative Factor. And this is the people that we get all of our banners done from. We'll be getting some of our other merch done through them, and some special little goodies. Now, when I get to talking about Spool 3D, we're going to be doing something over the course of the next month. If you are a client of spool3d.ca, what I want you to do on your next order is type something in the comment line saying that you watch the first layer, or make some sort of comment about the first layer. And we're going to start putting little surprises inside the boxes for you guys. Something special. You never know what you're going to get. Could be magnets. It could be action figure. It could be anything. Could be something I've printed and painted. So make sure that if you are a Spool 3D customer, that you put something in the comment section on your order, and we'll make sure that something happens for you.
So SQ3D, I missed it. What's the head printed next to you? Look familiar?
If I put a hat on him, and I put these on him, he looks just like me. Now I can't see anything. There we go. Wow, some hair. Okay. Was hard to tell at the angle. This is my fat head.
Mother of God, now there are two of them.
Thanks. Well, so much for answering questions today.
Well, you don't have to print the hair. You
No,
can paint the hair. It's the right color
that's
already.
true. That's true. All right, so what's in the box? Let's talk quickly about what's in the box. This is the Auto Bed Leveling Creality 3D Auto Bed Leveling Kit. It is very similar in a lot of ways to the kit that you get from TH3D Studios. I'm going to be taking this one home and testing it out on my particular Creality CR10S. It's very easy to put together. It comes with a bracket, so no printing off any brackets. Comes with a bracket that goes right on your printer, like so. You drop that down inside of it and get it all set up. And here's the cool part, is it has its own power supply, which is right there, comes in the box. You plug it in, you plug your Z wire, your end stop Z connector into here instead of plugging it into the one that is on the Z. There you go. Frank wanted to see it. And do the configuration of the software, download the software either from the Creality website or you can get it from the Spool 3D website as well. And we'll get you some links to all that stuff today. But I'm going to test this out. It looks like it's going to be a pretty cool little sensor to play with. If it works, I'm going to let you know. If it doesn't work, if it was too difficult to set up, I'm going to let you know that too. And now we'll have 2 studios set up. I've got a studio I'm setting up at home. Right now we've got the final parts for that studio in today. So we will have a 2-camera setup at home. It's mainly for the Patreon videos that I'll be doing, where I'm finishing and painting different 3D printed models. So we're going to, but I will be doing some stuff from home as well with that setup. So you guys will get to see that as well. So I'm going to try this at home. You guys are going to get to see what I did with it at home. I'm going to film it all for you, and then we'll put it in an upcoming episode. Rich and I are going to race on putting this on tonight. Ha! Oh yes, Brian Baker just bought one today. He was in the store and bought one, and yes, we're going to have a race and see who can get it done faster. Good morning, America, the German printing nerd.
Hey, Don.
Hey, there's Don. Kevin Wilson, hello, sir. Who else we got there?
Kevin Wilson came to join us on Facebook.
Yeah, I see that. There we go. So now that we are into all of that, that was kind of the news I wanted to cover today. Now I'm going to open it up to your questions about 3D printing or about how we're setting things up at home or here or what have you. If you want to ask me some questions about this, I know a fair amount about the TH3D Easy ABL, which should be very much the same as the ABL from Creality, but we're going to test it out.
You know, in the meantime, there's a couple of questions I've heard lately about what the difference is between all metal hot ends and the other kind.
Okay, let me explain what that is. The difference between an all metal hot end and a standard hot end in the 3D printing world is, in a standard hot end, you're going to have usually a brass nozzle, and you're going to have a Teflon lined throat inside and I have nothing on my desk to really show that, but I have a block. So your nozzle will be on one end and the throat will be on the other, and the throat will go into some sort of heat sink on your 3D printer, whether it be a block or it be something that has fins like the E3D or even the Creality CR10. The difference is that when you buy a printer, it does not come with an all-metal hot end for the most part, unless you're buying a higher-end system. When you put on an all-metal hot end, you eliminate that PTFE liner in the throat, and you usually have either a stainless steel or a hardened steel nozzle on the end. Now, the reason for that is, and why we're talking a little bit about that, is because there's some confusion as to what materials you can use with a standard hot end. A PTFE liner that is in the throat will start to break down at 240 degrees Celsius. Now, that being said, if you are like me and you run your printers 24/7 for the most part, that PTFE liner, although you're only at 100 or 210 or 205 or maybe 230 if you're printing ABS, that ABS liner will eventually start to break down because it's constantly being bombarded by the heat. So over time it just starts to flake and it tries to melt down in the end of the hot end where the nozzle is, and then it can cause jams and clogs and all kinds of nonsense. So my recommendation, and I say this a lot, is if you're going to upgrade anything, upgrade to an all-metal hot end. It gives you several advantages. One, because of the all metal throat and the hardened steel or stainless steel nozzle, it allows you to print more filaments, different styles of filaments. So now you can print things like glow-in-the-dark filaments. You can print carbon fiber. You can print with the wood. You can print higher temp plastics. PETG benefits more from having a all-metal hot end as opposed to having a standard hot end, because you need to reach 240 to 250 degrees for most PETG filaments. You can print nylon with it. You can print carbon fiber with it. You know, you can print just about any material you'll find on the market today with an all-metal hot end. So did that answer your question? I hope it did.
That was just something I threw out.
Yeah.
It's been asked, and nobody was asking any questions. So if nobody wants to, I'll ask questions.
Hey, the Mosquito hot end, Skewed View 3D says the Mosquito hot end looks really interesting from Slice Engineering. I have not seen that, but if you can send a picture of that over to our Facebook page, I'd love to have a look at it. Brian Baker, a lot of companies are shipping the all-metal hot ends with brass novels. Brass is fine unless you start running the abrasive filaments. And you're right about that, Brian. But the lower end 3D printers that a lot of people are buying, that $200, $250, $300 ANETs and Hicktops and lower end 3D printers, they do have line throats, because I've taken liners out of a lot of them. So TL smoothers, do you run them? And if so, what motors need them? Your standard motor can use a TL smoother. I don't use them, but I should probably show you guys this. I am working on a test bench right now. Let me go to the overhead. Geez, that's kind of dark, but I thought I had enough light. But here we go. Here is a MKS Gen 1.4 board where I have put, not the smoothers, I've put different step sticks on here. These are the TMC 2130s. And you can see I've got 4 of them, and the way that I'm going to set them up is so that it takes advantage of everything that it can do. So I will be running the X and the Y into the X and the Y end stops, so that when these meet resistance, they will stop. And that's part of what these TMC 2130s will do. They also even out the wave sign. So yes, it makes your printer quieter, but it also takes away things like salmon skinning. And I'll just go back to this. And salmon skinning, what that is when you look at a print, and I don't think there's any on here because I've got my CR10s pretty much dialed in, but salmon skinning is when you look at a larger piece, or even a smaller piece that has a lot of surface area on it, you'll see concentric rings start and they kind of go out from each other. And that can be on any flat surface. That's called salmon skinning, because what it looks like is the layers of meat in a piece of salmon. So TLC smoothers, or TMC smoothers, they do work. Once I get this test bench set up, I'm going to go through a much broader explanation of what they do and how they work. But for now, if you've not tried them, go ahead and give them a try if that's what you want to do. If not, wait till I've set up the test bench and we'll see exactly what we can do with them. Did you notice the difference? What's that?
They're plug and play and they're cheap. It's a really
Yeah, they're pretty much plug and play. There's a little bit that you have to do in firmware, but nothing serious. And I'll walk through all that. We put TL smoothers on our TiVo Tornadoes SKU 3D. And how do they work for you? I'd love to know. Big difference on the Tornado. Okay. On all the motors, or just the X and Y and extruder? It's funny because there's 2 rules of thought on TL smoothers, on doing all of them or just doing, the X and the Y. Now, the way I've set up this test board is I've got them on the X, Y, Z, and the extruder. from what I understand, putting them on the extruder makes the extruder run a lot smoother. So again, part of that avoids the salmon skinning. So the X and the Y for sure. If you're going to put on smoothers, the X and the Y for sure. The Z, I'm not sure if you really need them on the Z or not, because the Z goes fairly slow. And the three parts that are moving the most are the X, the Y, and the extruder, because the extruder is constantly going. So I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to experiment with them, and I will release all my data to you guys in a video. So a skewed view 3D says he thinks they put them on the X, Y, and Z only. Okay.
It doesn't seem to be. I don't think it would make much difference.
Way too slow, X, Y, and Z for me. Apparently, it does something to the salmon skinning. So, yeah, it pretty much eliminates it. So,
I believe I'm going to try that.
yeah, most of them come in a set of 3. So X, Y, and E. Yep. Now, Spool 3D sells them individually, so you can buy as many as you want.
I just buy whatever Richard tells me to.
Buy this. Don't do that.
Well, you won't let me buy stuff on my own, so
That's,
I have to ask you first, apparently.
well, you don't have to ask me. You just have to be smart about what you buy.
You're not buying that. There's no way.
Okay, I've said that a couple of times. I'm just trying to keep them out of trouble. All right. No problem. Anytime, Frank, anytime. You're allowed to interject.
I'm a little distracted today, so,
That's okay. He's in. I've got to get some light on him over there pretty soon. Yeah, we'll try and we'll see how it works. So, listen, if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you get notified every time that we do a brand new video, and you keep up to date with what's going on. A lot of things are coming, great things are coming this week. On Monday, next week, is a holiday for us. Actually, the Sunday is the holiday, but everybody here is closed on Monday. So I'm going to do a live stream from my home studio in the afternoon at 1:30 on Monday. That will be the 2nd of July, and you guys we're gonna talk, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna look at what I'm working on, and we'll go from there. We'll do a live stream.
Brian Baker's got a few comments on YouTube.
Yes. Brian Baker, question. What would cause the CR10 5S 500 to not print in center of the bed when it's set to the center of the printing with Simplify 3D, or is there more to do somewhere in the software to make this happen? I am not sure about that. If it's not printing in the center, there's got to be something that could be a skew with the firmware. Who knows? Because usually what happens is your 3D printer, of course, when you send G-code to the 3D printer, it's going to read that G-code, but it's also going to read the firmware, and the firmware will override some of the G-code if it conflicts. So there might be something else happening there, and I'll have to look into that a little bit more for you.
Mark Baker, Brian Baker wants to know from Mark, is your print area set up properly in S3D? Are they having some issue there?
Yeah, you can set that up in Simplify 3D, and Simplify 3D only has one setting.
Is that in your printer settings specifically?
Yeah, in the Simplify 3D. However, get this, talking about Cura earlier, the new Cura that I just downloaded today, I did check, it has the CR10, the CR10 S4, and the CR10 S5. So maybe what I would suggest before you do anything more is test it out with the latest Cura, and Cura's not sponsoring us, by the way, just so you know. It's just they're free software and they've released something new. So I did check that out. Go and load it up in Cura 3.4, load up a model and see if it does what it's supposed to do, if it's going to start printing in the center, because I've never had any problem with my CR10S at all printing where it's supposed to print. Yes, get the 8 diode smoothers, not the 4 diode smoothers. The 4 diode smoothers don't work very well on the 4498s. I believe that's what they are, or the 8825s.
Can you kind of go overboard and like daisy chain these things together so you get extra smoothing, or is it not worth it?
Daisy chaining is just not worth it. You can buy for the couple dollars extra that you're going to pay for the 8 diode over the 4 diode.
Yeah, okay.
Just get the 8 diode.
Well, you could put two 8s together and have a 16 diode smoother. Is that like horsepower? Is it
No,
the more diodes
no, no. You just start wasting diodes at that point.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's totally something I would do.
There was no CR10 S-Link, Mark Baker saying. CR10 S-Link, are you...
What link are they looking for?
What link are you looking for, Mark Baker? Just let me know. You just have to download the latest Cura and then just pick your printer. That's all you have to do there. All right, so that pretty much brings us to the end of today.
The end of today.
Yeah, we've got a short one today. We've had a short one all week.
Been on for half an hour.
Yeah, we have. On Friday, we are putting together a dragon from Emilio Vitz. This is Jess's dragon that she got from Game of Thrones. We started working on it last week. We filmed all that for you. So we're going to have that video up on Friday. On Monday, I want you to remember that I am at home. So we're going to have a little live stream from my home on Monday. And then Wednesday, we're back in studio to do a regular live stream. And then the following Friday, a week from this Friday, you're going to get to see us finally rebuild Jess's ANET A8 onto a metal frame. So there's that. A skewed view 3D, you have to turn off your caps lock. It looks like you're shouting at everybody.
Stop yelling.
Stop yelling at me. Brian Baker. So, let's thank the people we got to thank. I want to thank Frank for coming in today. I want to thank Jess for being our producer on our recorded shows now. Without these two people, I'd lose my mind, really, I would. They keep me kind of on track and, help me with when I can't figure out what I'm going to do next. That being said, I also want to thank my lovely wife who joins us here as often as she can. And she keeps me motivated at home. She cracks the whip. I have to go into my studio at home and get work done. The studio at home, by the way, is not all set up, but it will be set up enough to get things started and get the ball rolling. On the 2nd, which is the Monday, our very first Patreon tutorial is going to be going up on Patreon. So all of you guys that are at the $5 level or above will have access to those videos. If you're at the $1 level, you have access to our posts. And if you're at the $3 level, you have access to the posts and to behind the scenes photographs and photographs of everything that we're working on. So if you're not a Patreon, go to patreon.com/thefirstlayer and sign up today if you'd like to help support the show. If that's not your gig, you don't want to, you're not up for a monthly commitment in our tough economic times, you can always go and buy me a coffee. And I like to share my coffee with Frank because he loves coffee. And also like to share with Jess as well and my little friend right here. So you can go to buymeacoffee.com/thefirstlayer. It's not a monthly commitment. It's just buying a coffee. Unfortunately, it is Starbucks prices. I don't drink Starbucks. I'm cheap. I drink, McDonald's coffee. I also want to thank spool3d.ca because without them, we wouldn't have the studio and have access to some of the stuff that we do. So thanks to spool3d.ca. Print it right, print it with Spool3D because they've got everything you need from printers, filaments, and parts and accessories. So check them out today at spool3d.ca and print it right, print it with spool3d.ca. I think I've covered everything this time. Oh, if you have any questions for me, you can either leave them in the comments down below. You can leave me a PM over on Facebook, or you can drop me a physical email at richard@thefirstlayer.com. So with that said, guys, hope you're having a great Wednesday. Take care of one another. Be happy, be great, and look after your neighbors as well. Until next time, remember that the first layer is always your foundation to a great print. Until next time, see you Friday.